Hello everyone! Today I'm going to show you guys how to draw a toony fox. So follow me with a piece of paper and let's see if you can draw a cute, simple fox. So we're going to draw the body first and it's going to be bean-like shape. So follow the lines that I'm drawing on the bean-like shape to create some divisions. Now we're going to draw these sketchy little lines coming out the bottom, which are going to be the legs. So the fox has two legs, so let's draw two lines, two little squiggle lines. And then we're going to draw triangles on the bottom that are going to represent the character's toes. So it looks kind of ridiculous right now, but you're just drawing basic lines and basic shapes, and this way you will know where things are going to go. So the head's just a circle, and the shoulders are just smaller circles. So on the face, I like to divide it into different sections. I like to divide it in the middle, and then I draw two other lines. They're going to be where the cheeks are going to go. And because it's a fox, it's going to have pointy cheeks. And then where the eyebrow ridge is going to go, and then the other cheek, because the fox has to have two cheeks. And the eyebrow ridge area, because we're going to make him a happy fox, we're going to keep those eyebrow ridges pretty big. And we're going to draw the muzzle area, which is just going to be a circle for now, just to give the idea where it's going to go, even though the fox is not going to have just a flat circular muzzle. Ears are usually triangular in shape. Try to keep the shapes pretty basic, so ears will be just triangles for now. Don't worry if it doesn't look exactly the same, but something around that look and that size is fine. You can make them bigger or smaller. If you want to make it a fennec, you can keep them a lot bigger. So for the chest, I like to give it a triangular-like shape sticking out of it. So when I draw the fluffy area, it's just like a peak. Hey, my dog's got a little peak like that too, so it looks really, really nice. So the legs, we don't want the fox to have these skinny little stick legs that look kind of creepy right now. So we go back and we start adding some meat to them. And whatever lines I like, I go over them a little bit more. That way my eyes can see which are the lines that I like, and I start to completely ignore the lighter lines. So we're drawing the other leg, and he's got haunches. So you want these things to be meaty and stick out. So I messed up on this foot, and instead of sitting down and worrying about it and erasing it, I just go over with my pencil and start creating the new shape. So I started redrawing the toe area on the bottom a little bit lower than the other foot, so it gives it that perspective kind of look, like this foot is closer to the viewer and the other foot is further away. And I keep changing things around the legs, because once the other foot's been changed and the leg, you want to make small adjustments. See, everything is just basic shapes. So as long as you can draw circles, triangles, rectangles, all the shapes that you should have learned in school, you should be fine. You just have to divide everything into small shapes, easy shapes. Same thing with the tail, just easy, long, like another bean-like shape with a point at the end. And you want the tail to start coming out from between the legs and then out. You don't want to just start it out the side of the leg, because it'll look like it would have been attached to the side of its leg anyways, and it just looks wrong. So for the arms, just think cylinders, just two cylinders, because we're going to create a very basic arm for this character. For this tutorial, I kept the hands fisted up, which is a really easy way of doing it. I can draw them open if you want, and another tutorial to show you guys how to draw an open hand, but for this one we're going to keep them closed. Proportions for these types of characters are a little bit different than if you were drawing something in real life. You can get away with a lot of stuff, because these are more what I would call like Disney-like proportions for these types of characters. So if the arms can be a little bit bigger or shorter, the hands can be huge or tiny. I mean, it just kind of depends. It doesn't look wrong. So we go back up to the muzzle, and it needed to be a bit longer than just a circle. So we drew a rectangular-like shape, and it has a point at the end because it's where we're going to put the nose. So we're going over the areas where the eyebrow ridges are. And then we're going to draw a really cute fox nose because it needs a nose. Just keep the shapes basic. So he has a big old smile line, and we make sure that we stop it underneath the eyes because you don't want it to go into the eye. And then we draw the bottom jaw. So for the eyes, I usually draw very loose circles. It doesn't have to be a perfect science for the circles. Anything that's vaguely like that, and then you can crop the top a little bit, or you can make the top a little bit flatter. It depends on the look that you want to go with. You can keep them completely round. They still will look okay. So I try to flatten them a little bit and then make the bottom part a little bit darker so it looks like the cheek is pushing it up. For the ears, I usually go back over them and make them not as pointy, just to soften it a little bit because it is an organic shape. I don't want pointy parts. You can make them pointy, but that's pretty much up to you. For the inside of the ear, you should just do 2 lines to divide them. Going back and adding a little bit of details here and there. You can jump around. It doesn't matter if it didn't have eyes at first. I usually jump around all over the place where I draw one arm, and then I go back up and I draw the eyes. But this is up to you. This is just the way I usually see things. I get really excited drawing a face, and then I go back and I finish everything else. So for the eyes, the way that I drew them was just ovals. You can draw them as circles, you can draw them as ovals, you can draw them as a bunch of things. It depends on where you're putting the ovals. It's where the character is going to be looking. So we're going to draw the other arm. And the other arm needs to be the same idea as the first one. It's going to be 2 tubes, but because the way the arm is in a different position, it makes it a little bit more complicated. So one of the tubes is going to be pretty much hidden behind the neck fluff area, and then the tube that connects to the square part of the hand is going to be the closest to the viewer, so it's going to be a little bit shorter. You can leave this one down if you wanted to change it a little bit, it's fine. For some reason I decided to just draw the hands completely fisted up for this tutorial. I will draw them open for the next one to show you guys how to draw an open hand. But for now we're going to keep them closed. You don't have to worry about fingers, you don't have to worry about anything, just to keep it simple for you guys. And I give the idea of fingers in there, but they're just closed up, like the hand is closed up so you can't really see them too much. When you're drawing, the thing you have to keep in mind is just have fun with the lines. Don't get overcritical about it. Just be very loose with your lines, be very light with them, and then when you're really happy with them, go back and make them darker. For the toes, I literally just draw lines to divide the toes. I like to draw my characters with 4 toes. You can draw them with 3, you can draw them with 2, or you can just avoid toes if you really wanted to. But the easiest way is just to draw lines to divide those triangles that I drew, triangle-like shapes that I drew to create toes. I'm going over things to give them extra fluffy areas. And I'm also rounding out the toes a little bit so they don't look so flat. It gives the character a little bit more dimension, doesn't make it look so flat on the piece of paper. So for the other foot, we're going to draw the same thing. We're going to draw lines to divide the toes out. And because the foot is facing a little bit different, just make sure you keep those toe lines following the other foot. You could make it so it follows the viewer a little bit more, but you would have to draw that foot a little bit different. So we go back and we fluff up the tail, because you want a fluffy tail. You don't want this thing to just look like a tube. And you can make it as fluffy or as unfluffy as you want. So we go back and we add more fluff, because I have an obsession with fluff everywhere. That's not a bad thing. You want to make this thing fuzzy. I do it inside the ear too, so it gives it a little bit more dimension of just doing that. You can also just draw a quick line and call it good if you really wanted to, but I like fluffy ears too. So you make a mistake, don't worry about it. Just go in and erase it if you really, really want to. So I wanted to make the eye stand out a little bit more, so I went back and I made the upper part of the eye thicker. And this is something that you'll see a lot in cartoons. The upper part of the eye is always going to be thicker, just to make the eye stand out more, so it looks like an eyelash type area without having to draw the individual eyelashes. It's just a thicker area. And it just looks better overall too. I thickened the eyebrows just so I could see where they were, because they were just lines and they were hiding for me. You can make those really thin, or you can leave them out. I like eyebrows because it helps with the expression of the character. So now that I like my lines, I'm going to go back and I'm going to sketch over it and pretty much call it done. Since this one was just a sketch, I'm just going over all my blue lines and making them black so I can see what I did. I hope this helped people a little bit, just to see how you can make art easy, and now especially after practicing it, try to see everything in basic shapes and just divide it all out, and you can see that this character was pretty much a ton of circles, beans, squares, and triangles. So you can do this to every single character that you see out there. So if you have any questions, be sure to ask, and if you have any suggestions for future tutorials, just tell me in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to comment and like the video. See you guys next week. Hope this helps somebody. Bye-bye.